Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
हमारे कार्यक्रम पेश किए जाते हैं कई भाषाओं में। कृपया देखें suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Catching a virus is much easier than you think, and even chatting is a hazard. With the aid of aerodynamic particle sizing, it was found that up to 330 particles were released into the air per second when a person made the ah sound. Continue watching to find out more.
Bonjour means hello in French, the official language of Réunion. This is how the gentle people of the beautiful island will greet you if you ever visit. Réunion is one of the Mascarenes Islands and located east of Madagascar and southwest of Mauritius. Gorgeous viewers, my name is Didier. Réunion's graceful people wish that your life is filled with God's blessings and joy. Welcome to our show, The Protective Power of Masks, Part 1 of 2. It is easier than ever before to travel quickly to new distant places via car, train, or airplane. However, in the 21st century, more and more infectious diseases have emerged and pose a threat to global public health due to the constant high-volume movement of people between different countries for trade and tourism. The World Health Organization, or WHO, defines an epidemic as the occurrence in a community or region of cases of an illness, specific health-related behavior, or other health-related events clearly in excess of normal expectancy. The entity defines a pandemic as the worldwide spread of a new disease. Over various times in the past 2 decades, there have been newly appearing zoonotic pandemics like SARS, avian flu, swine flu, MERS, etc. They do not simply disappear after a while, rather these diseases keep resurfacing. The first case of the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, or MERS, was detected in Jordan in April 2012. While it emerged in the Middle East, an outbreak of MERS occurred in Korea in 2015. Understanding the mode of transmission of an infectious disease like MERS or COVID-19 caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus is essential to lessen or prevent the further spread of the illness. Viruses can be transmitted between people through airborne droplets made of mucus, saliva, and water. Particles containing viruses can be detected when an infected individual coughs, sneezes, talks, or even exhales. One study found that droplets larger than 5 micrometers tend to fall to the ground within 1 to 2 meters of the ill individual. Another person standing within this range may have the droplets enter their mouth, eyes, or nose and then become infected. When exhaled, respiratory particles less than 5 micrometers in diameter are called aerosols. Aerosols float in the air for a longer period of time and travel a further distance before being breathed in and possibly infected someone or evaporating. Recently, the gas cloud hypothesis was explored in an article published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Under this theory, when a person coughs or sneezes, viral particles of different sizes are expelled in a gas cloud or puff. Depending on humidity, air temperature, and airflow, the aerosols can remain in the air for a considerable amount of time and travel up to 7 or 8 meters. Given favorable conditions, the length of time aerosols can exist can be extended by about 1,000-fold from milliseconds to minutes. SARS-CoV-2 has been detected in air samples even after several hours. Catching a virus is much easier than you think, and even chatting is a hazard. According to researchers, talking can potentially spread a virus by releasing infectious droplets and aerosols. Researchers use laser light scattering technology to observe the emission pattern of droplets from a person who was speaking. About an average of 1,000 droplet particles were detected in 1 second. With the aid of aerodynamic particle sizing, it was found that up to 330 particles were released into the air per second when a person made the sound. The louder the sound a person made, the greater the number of particles that were emitted. In a different study, when the subject spoke loudly, up to 53 particles were emitted per second, compared with only 6 particles when the person whispered. The number of particles generated during speech also varies across individuals. These results suggest a significant risk from COVID-19 asymptomatic people unknowingly spreading the coronavirus by merely talking. We will now pause briefly for a constructive message. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to The Protective Power of Masks, Part 1 of 2 on Supreme Master Television. One effective way to prevent coronavirus transmission is through social distancing or keeping 3 meters or more away from others. Personal protective equipment or PPE, such as masks and face shields, are another line of defense. Let's have a look at the structure of a surgical mask, which is used by healthcare professionals and designed for one-time use. This mask is made of 3 layers and commonly known as a three-ply surgical mask. Each stratum of the non-woven fabric is made up of different textures with specific functions. The outermost layer is water-resistant to repel fluids such as respiratory droplets. In the middle, the fabric may carry an electrostatic charge and serves as the filter. The innermost stratum is made of absorbent materials. When a person speaks, sneezes, or coughs, mucosal droplets can be trapped to prevent them from spreading to the surrounding space. In addition, this layer will absorb moisture from the user's breath, so the comfort level can improve. When these 3 layers are combined, the mask can effectively stop pathogenic substances from entering and leaving the wearer's nose and mouth, thus better protecting the user from taking in or spreading a virus. What does the scientific data say about the benefits of mask wearing to protect us from SARS-CoV-2? One source of evidence that supports the effectiveness of wearing a mask is laboratory studies which explore the respiratory droplets patterns and investigate how different mask types protect the wearer from them. An experiment used a high-speed camera to observe the patterns of respiratory droplets coming from a person's mouth when speaking a phrase. The recording showed hundreds of droplets between 20 to 500 micrometers in diameter were released from the test subject. However, when the person covered his mouth with a damp washcloth, almost all of these droplets were absorbed by the cloth.
feel like they should take it serious. Their life matters.
In one simulation, mannequins set about 1 meter apart were used to measure the level of aerosol exposure when someone coughs or exhales. The emitted particles from the source mannequin, which was masked, were radiolabeled to measure their spread. The results showed that the number of particles reaching the receiver mannequin's face, which was unmasked, was lower when the source mannequin's mouth was covered. In another test, where the source mannequin's mouth was uncovered, the receiver mannequin could still be equally well protected if a N95 mask or a face mask that blocks 95% of small airborne particles was sealed over its face properly. Ultimately, these investigations show that the spread of viruses is much better prevented if the infected person wears a mask. But public health officials advise all to wear masks for maximum safety. The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, recommends wearing a mask in indoor spaces outside of the home because the coronavirus may be shedding from infected individuals, including asymptomatic ones. A poorly ventilated building can be dangerous. The CDC states persons with more severe to critical illness or severe immunocompromise likely remain infectious no longer than 20 days after symptom onset. Recovered persons can continue to shed detectable SARS-CoV-2 RNA in upper respiratory specimens for up to 3 months after illness onset, albeit at concentrations considerably lower than during illness. Thus, taking adequate preventive measures to minimize exposure to possible viral particles in the air is vital for safety. Another advantage of wearing a mask includes preventing one from touching the nose and mouth. Hands can come in contact with a variety of contaminated areas. A study released in March 2020 found plastic and stainless steel surfaces can harbor the novel coronavirus for up to 72 hours, and it can live on cardboard for up to 24 hours. High-touch areas that may be contaminated include door knobs, elevator buttons, tables, light switches, handrails, countertops, and bathroom fixtures. Wearers must also be careful to not touch their face when adjusting or taking off their masks, because unclean hands can come into contact with the eyes. In today's program, we hope you have learned how wearing a mask can help you and the people around you to stay safe and healthy during the pandemic. Please join us again on Saturday, February 13th for the Protective Power of Masks, Part 2 of 2, where we will discuss different face mask types and their levels of protection. All of Supreme Master Ching Hai's tips for protection during the COVID-19 and any other pandemic are free for viewing and download at masterstips-on-covid-19.com. Be vegan, make peace. Shining viewers, thank you for your company for our show. May you and your loved ones always be blessed with divine light.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/HL.